Happy Crafternoon, everyone. It is Sunday, and we are just getting right into it. So, today's craft, I actually have several crafts on my agenda today. Um, there's going to be some painting. There's going to be some heat transfer vinyl. There's going to be some hot gluing, and then there's going to be Waterslide Decals. So, my manicure. All right. So, there's going to be Waterslide Decals, and this is what we are focusing on today. So, a little backstory while we get all settled in here. Uh, 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 uh. So, I have been making these little ornaments since 2012. And I'm going to show you the ornaments um, once I get there. So, water slide decal is a technique that I actually learned from my husband because he is a model railroad guy and does a lot of this water slide decal stuff with his model railroad. So he bought some printable water slide decals for his model railroad, and that was the first time I knew that that was a thing that was possible uh, in terms of water slide decals. So I don't see the. I'm looking in the wrong place on my computer for the big mass of ornaments, but I will show you um, one of them. So this is the general idea here. It's a little stocking and it's got the name. Um, I did do some water slide decal stuff with colored ink, and I found that it didn't work out quite as well. And I am reaching for something that I will show you was done with colored ink. Um, so that you can see kind of the difference between this with just done with black ink and back to uh, back to this was done with colored ink, and you can kind of barely see it. um so not super great. However, I will say if you were going to use this and then paint over it, um and just kind of use it as a template, that would work out nicely. So, all right. So we have here, so I've been doing these, like I said, since 2012. And oh, I know where to find it. Different folder, guys. How dare I? All right. So, um I first made them for my mother-in-law because my husband is the oldest of 12 children. And at that point, there were three of us child-in-laws, and there were starting to be grandchildren. So I wanted to do one of those like family trees uh, ornaments for her, but there's just far too many. So um, share this. Boom. So you can see this was the first batch um, with my in-laws' names, all their kids, and then let's see, I can look at this and see. Oh, okay, there was four. Sorry, there were four child-in-laws at the time, and one, two grandchildren. I see here. So, and they all look the same. Um, there's no differentiation between the grandchildren and the children and the parents. So the parents are up here. You've got there's a grandchild here and a grandchild here, and I think those were the only two grandchildren that were born at the time. So I, as more grandchildren were born, as another couple of children got married, I added to my mother-in-law's collection. And I will show you if I can find it how she displays them, or how she at least used to display them. So I really wish it would just let me kind of right click on other pictures or something. All right. So at their old house, there we go. There's the big one. So at their old house, they had this great um, metal uh, mantle. That's the word I was looking for. This metal mantle above their wood burning fireplace, and it was long. And so what we did was we got some magnetic hooks, um, and I'm gonna start cutting these down. You can see these in my little screen. My little screen. Let me share it. There you go. My little screen. Um, I've got them all printed out, and I'll talk about kind of the methodology as well. Um, but back to that. There we go. So what I what we did was we bought some. They looked like push pins, but they were about like an inch and a half tall, and they were metal, and they would sit on top of the mantle, and then the stocking hung off the mantle. So as you can see here, there's a lot. There was I think 24, 22, something like that in the original run of these, and every year since we've added to them. And what started doing was, as a gift to the individual families, I would make them their own set. So every year, if we add a grandchild, or if we add uh, it's mostly if we add a grandchild, there's two versions of these made. One for my mother-in-law and one for the sibling-in-law. So, and then I started doing them for my friends as well. So we've just got a whole thing. And I also use the same technique. You see, this is slightly different. I use the same technique um, for some other ornaments, and I have those down here. Oh, oh, oh no. Okay, so let me get back to full screen over here. Stop sharing. I cut them down. So I have these, and I've not used these before. I bought these from AliExpress, and I had to repaint them because the paint job was atrocious. I got some pink ones and some blue ones, and I was going to put this on the little cuff there, but it's looking like they're gonna be too long, which is a disappointment. Yeah. I mean, I could take off the 2022. I can make them work. Like I can put the name up here, and I can put the first Christmas down here, and then the 2022. It's just a lot of little cutting for this, so I'm not sure if I'm gonna do that on stream or not. So with the printable water slide, let me just move my food out of the way. With the printable water slide decals, there are two different kinds, and one of the kinds I have not seen until very recently, um, which is a, what did they call it? It was like a no coating required, um, a no coating required. So these are the older style that are coating required. So after printing these, and these are inkjet printable, after printing these, I have to hit them with a clear coat. So I have a spray clear coat that I hit them with and then let that dry sufficiently. These have been drying for several days just because I clear coated them last week because I was going to do this stream last week and then couldn't because I hurt myself. So you just want to cut down as much of the excess. I'm sorry, I just realized none of that was probably on screen. So you just want to cut down kind of as much excess as you can, um, on these before working. And you can see we have, oh no, oh, they're stacked. Okay, so we are adding a child-in-law this year. They are getting married on in a week actually, and there was another grandchild born back in July. So we're adding the grandchild and making a family set for my sister-in-law and her husband with the grandchild. Boom. Jay is just like messing me up. I can't I can't get a lot of the excess off of it because of just the style. And I do use the same font for all of them so that they all go together in a nice cohesive set. So these are the resin stocking ornaments, and I've been getting these since 2012 from Oriental Trading Company. And 9 times out of 10, these are all looking really good. They already come painted. I'm sorry, let me back up. They always already come painted. 100% of the time they come painted. But I would say I have gotten a batch in the past that was a little janky in terms of the paint quality. This one's all right. There's some weird like stuff up there. This one's good. This one's all right. There's like a blob of paint. There's two blobs of paint on this one. I'll just make sure those kind of go together. That one looks good. This one looks good. Okay, these are all pretty good. They're from two different batches. I had to open up another box. They come 12 to a box for a little over $12, so they're about $1 a piece, which is super not bad, um, in terms of price. I've got my water already here. Let me just do that. All right, there we go. Maybe that'll be better. I'm sorry about that. I apparently yeeted myself from the stream accidentally. I don't know what my mouse hit, but I am going to move my mouse over out of the way for the time being since I don't need it. Okay, so I don't do anything to prep these because they already have like a coating on them. But I will be adding to that. Let me move all this. There we go. Slightly closer to me. But we'll be adding a gloss coat after I put the decal on. Okay. So after I put the decal on, I'll be adding a gloss coat. So I'm going to be using my spring hinge style tweezers that I normally have in my manicure stuff, but they work really well for this because you can hold on to it, pick it up really easily, etc. So we're just going to get started, and I'm going to start with this one. And it's real easy. But before we get started, we're going to take a very short break. And I will be back in just a few moments. So let me All right. Thank you for that. Turn that background music down just a little bit. All right. So, going to first soak the decal. To let it release. And while I'm doing that, I'm just going to take a little cotton pad. I'm actually going to move that kind of there. Okay. I'm just going to take a cotton pad and get a little bit of water on it. Put a little bit of water on my surface here. Not a gross tonnage, but just a little bit to help it kind of suction. So while that is soaking, they usually don't take much time. I'm going to move these out of the way on my other little rotation table here so they don't get messy or messed up, because I really don't want to have to print more. So the Waterslide decal paper comes in 8.5 by 11 sheets. And what I have done is when I design them in Photoshop, I get them all on the same line, or the same couple of lines, so that after I print them, I can just use my paper cutter and cut it at a straight line, and then the next time I want to do them, I have a partial sheet of paper that I can load into my printer and cut without necessarily doing too much to, not wasting a whole page. And as long as it's, more than just a few inches, like once you get down to like a couple inches left on your page, you might have to, tape it to a different page or something. I haven't got that far, but that's when it'll get dicey. So I'm opening a package here because I'm actually going to use a craft knife to kind of help me place these. So I'm just gonna take one of these knives, the pointy worst one, I think. Tighten that in. And this is going to help to kind of place the decal so that I can place it with the tweezers, which I think it should be ready by now. So I can place the decal with the paper under it and then kind of peel up do it the other way around. Place the decal, hold it there, peel up the paper backing so that it just slides out. Now I'm just going to get the final placement. Kind of dab the excess water off, which sometimes does dab off the ink. So and there we go. Boom. So you can see that some of the ink got a little dicey. So what I will do with that once it's fully dry is I'll just take a Sharpie and fill it in just a little bit. And then put the gloss coat on. So that's easy peasy, right? Super easy to personalize your own ornaments. And it's my understanding, let's make the first set, and then that is trash. Okay. I'm going to attempt 2 at once. I don't want to get ahead of myself and get all impatient and mess this up, but that's what I'm gonna do. Some of these, like you can see, the paint doesn't kind of go all the way here, and these are good enough, I'm not gonna worry about it. There was a set I got a couple years back that were really like inconsistent. It was just an off batch that I had to do some repainting on. These are pretty decent though. And then when I do the gloss, I will put the gloss over the whole thing just because this I don't know is actually sealed. So I'll just do the gloss over the whole thing for good measure. Let me make sure those two with the like weird dots. Yeah. So these are together in this set for my sister-in-law and her husband and baby. Just pull out little pixel hair got in there. I mean, it could have been a pixel hair. It could have been a, I was gonna say hairbrush hair. That's not right. A paintbrush hair. But you know, it is what it is. So they normally have to sit in here for about a minute or so, and I'm not very good with figuring out how long it's been, but I think it's been time enough. Pull out Monica, and I'm just gonna set it down here to kind of soak up. Let's try it this way this time. Come on. The Rita is ready to go. You can see kind of how it's already like coming off. So I'm just gonna go for it with this one. Put her right where she's gonna go. Then place Monica's. I had got underneath it, and now it's being, there we go, difficult. The slide technique really is best to avoid puckering or air bubbles underneath it, or water bubbles, as I think I see here. There we go. Looks like it could be pulled over just a second. And that's also the nice thing about the Waterslide decals and why you're putting them onto like an already sealed surface is because they can be moved around a little bit before they start to dry. Ooh! Alright, I had it where I wanted it. And I was just trying to kind of smooth out the edges here. So let me just kind of see if I can hold it down and use my finger. All right. Rita one was just ready to rock, coming right out of the water. And this one I'm going to have to hold. Just to smooth down the edges. Because you can, let's see. There we go. If I tilt it like this, you can see the edges of the Waterslide decal paper. And even when I'm looking at it straight on, it's hard to pick up on camera, but I can see the edges. So once I put the clear coat on, it won't melt the edges away necessarily, but they will be not quite as obvious. And really, even if I sit back and sit about, there's like 12 inches between it and my face, I can't see. I can see one like little line. There's the ones that are over here that are a little further from my face. I can't see the lines at all. So, it's like a lot of crafts. If you get right up on top of it, you can see all the little things that are wrong. But if you appreciate it from afar, from the distance that, most people will look at it, it'll be fine. And that's the grace we allow ourselves in this particular situation. Okay. So, that family set is done. And then I'm going to add another Rita for my mother-in-law's set. Now, I'll try to update y'all later, but my in-laws moved last year out of their large house. Now that all but 2 of the children have grown up and moved away, or are moving away, in the case of my sister-in-law getting married on Saturday, they didn't need such a large house. Now, they didn't have a egregious amount of bedrooms, but their house was a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bedroom. Yeah, I mean, when they first moved in, it wasn't 7 bedrooms. They had a lot of space that I don't like. Originally was like all big playroom that they turned into 2 more bedrooms, and a smaller playroom. And then later, when my mother-in-law's mother got too ill to live on her own, they took that space and ripped out one of the bedrooms and built it into like an in-law unit with its own bathroom and a ramp for her walker and another bedroom. They left one of the bedrooms kind of in there within that like living space so that my sister-in-law had her own space within grandma's space to take care of her. So that was nice, and that was I'm sure a really nice selling point on their house when they sold it last year. So they moved down the hill, literally down the hill. You had to drive up a dirt road, and then you had to like hang a right and go up the hill to where their house was. Well, they owned from where their house was a little further up from their house, like behind it, up the hill a little more, down all the way to the main road. And what they did was they parceled off the land and split it in 2, cleared all the trees between their house and the main road, and then sold off the house and that half of the property and kept the bottom half of the property and put up a manufactured home, like a double wide 4-bedroom manufactured home. And because of COVID and delays, they actually didn't get into that house and had to stay in a motorhome. It was a whole thing for months and months and months, but they are finally in that home now. So I had last year when we went up for Christmas, I had teased my my in-laws, and I said, well, you're getting rid of that beautiful, you're not going to have that beautiful metal mantle anymore. How are you going to put up all the stockings I made? And my in-laws clapped back, and immediately my father-in-law was, oh no, I'm already making something at the shop for Michelle to be able to put up all of the stockings. We already have a plan for that. That was part of the plan in moving. Like, wow, okay, cool. She really loves it because only one. So we don't have kids. And then only one of the children that has the grandchildren lives near them. The rest all live out of state. Like, not even like, oh, a couple hours away. No, out of state. So they're from Oregon. The other ones live in Kansas, Illinois. No, I'm sorry, Indiana. Kansas, Indiana, Oklahoma, and New Mexico. And then there's one sibling who lives nearby in Oregon. So they only have access to a couple of their grandkids. But, obviously, they love all their grandkids. They want to see all their grandkids. They're not yet in a position to travel to see them because they just got into this house and they're getting, settled and whatnot still before they start, like, hitting the road in their Winnebago. And so, yeah, so it means kind of a lot to them. And that's nice. My father-in-law owns a ornamental iron business, so that's what he was building, some kind of ironwork thing. So I'm excited to see that. And since we're going up for Thanksgiving this year and not going up for Christmas, I will have to wait to see that in pictures for Christmas. But because we are going up this week for Thanksgiving, trying to get all these done because the Monica and Jason will be coming in from Indiana for the wedding, and the other in-laws will be coming in. Most of the other siblings will be coming in for the wedding and such. So I want to have these done so I can give them to them in person and not have to ship them. So we're adding a brother-in-law on Saturday. So there's his, goes right in. And one of my best friends added a son this year. So his goes in too. And she's got her own set. And the reason that there's I forgot. Oh, get me. All right. I forgot about this one. This is supposed to be 2. All right. So the reason it's got the A on the back is because he was named after his father. So she's already got a stocking that says Luis. And so the compromise we made was, because she wanted to, I said, it doesn't matter if they're the same because they have the same name. Doesn't matter. She's like, well, I want to know the difference between his stocking and the baby stocking. And I'm like, but they're the same. They're the same. What? So we're going to put the baby's middle initial on the back just to differentiate it for her for whatever reason. I don't get it, but that's what we're gonna do. Music is very soothing. Yeah. So just as a bit of a preview, because I will be sharing them on social later. Some of the other things I'm doing today is some heat transfer vinyl stockings, and these are for my best friend's got a new dog, and so the new dog is Toto, and Appa was their existing dog, and she bought matching stockings, so they'd have matching stockings, just in different colors. So I'm going to be adding those to the rim of the stocking, like an actual stocking. different medium, but you know, it's a stocking kind of day. And I've got some hot glue stuff. I got a hot glue. This is gonna sound weird. I got a hot glue. Wow. Okay, I was coming out with the Spanish word, a trombone, and not a paperclip. Don't know why, but I got a hot glue, a paperclip to the back of something because the paperclip is gonna be the hanger. And then do some more painting. So I didn't share it on Twitter, but I shared it on Instagram yesterday. That I made new place cards for my Friendsgiving, and they were wooden leaves that that one started slipping and sliding. Wooden leaves that I painted. And then added names to. And since we are going up for Thanksgiving and we're going to be with the in-laws for Thanksgiving, I was thinking that I was going to make a set for her sister-in-law to take with us that actually uses chalk instead. So I'm not sure yet if I'm going to paint them with a color and then paint them with chalk and try to leave a border, or paint them a color and then paint them with chalk, like just like a swipe of chalk. Don't know yet. Haven't figured that out. New brother-in-law done. Last one. It's gonna be a shorty stream today, and I have picked it up kind of funny, so I'm gonna down the A out of there. A. No. Okay, it was real ready, so it's just I'm gonna move the Luis and get this down because the paper just fell right off. There. I've never put a decal on the back before, so let's hope that doesn't completely get messed up. I mean, like I said before, though, I can always just get a Sharpie, kind of go over it. Just smoothed on, and it's all right. And then the Angel is his middle name. Luis Angel. Alrighty. Put that kind of this. So the gloss that I use, I'll just finish up by showing you that I just use a brush on Deco Art Duraclear gloss. And I do the brush on for these because of the ribbon that holds them. I don't want to get that all stiff in a if I use the spray. So that's why I generally use the brush on clear, and then I can just brush right across here, right across here, get that done, and it dries. It's polyurethane gloss varnish. It dries quickly, and yeah, it's water-based, permanent. It's indoor-outdoor. I've just been using this for, I don't even know how many years. Like, I've been using this way longer than I've been making these ornaments. So I will show you. I had mentioned that I was making the other ornaments for my sibling-in-law's children's, and I will share this. Share. There we go. All right. So this is, I used to be able to find these, I think they're called like poly resin. They're kind of like baked clay. It's hard to describe the material, but I used to be able to find these pretty consistently at Michael's craft stores, and I made them for, I think, most of the nieces and nephews. Up until a couple of years ago, I could not find them anymore, and I think let me see. Go to Lynn. That was 2016. This one is a slightly different design, but you can see it's kind of the same idea. 2015. That was the second one. Okay. 2016. Yeah, I think 2016 might have been the last time I could find them consistently. So we've got one of the nephews, the other nephew, and then my stepsister's daughter. So yeah, that's a slightly different design. And then I've done the problem with this being Favre family is which Favre family? I think it was for my brother and sister-in-law who live in Oregon. But this was also the same, like, kind of, like, you see what I mean by it's like poly resin clay. It's hard to describe. I did the Waterslide decal there for their first family Christmas too. And then, yeah. So that's what I'm gonna use to do. I couldn't find those anymore. As infuriating as it was. So that's what I've got those other ornaments for that I had to repaint. And the other ornaments came from AliExpress. Oh. Let's see. These ones came from AliExpress. And like I said, I had to repaint them, and then I put more gloss over them because they were real rough. And yeah, so these are close, but they're not quite the same. But it's about as close as I'm going to be able to get. So I got a few of those because I know that, you know, a few of my sibling-in-laws are probably done having kids, but you never know. And then the others I know are not done having kids, just started having kids. So, you know, I got 3 of each, so I had extras. And then beyond that, I don't know. I'll have to start sculpting something. Who knows? Never sculpted anything. Haven't sculpted something since working with clay at a Girl Scout camp in like 93. But, you know, maybe we'll figure it out. All right. So, thank you so much for joining me and my Waterslide decal. As you can see, it's super easy, and I did this in under an hour. And honestly, if I hadn't been sitting here talking to you, showing you pictures, and running you through the process, it would have taken less time. So I encourage you, you can get Waterslide decal paper on Amazon. It's not super expensive. I believe I have it linked in the description, but if I don't, right this second, I will double check and I will add it to the description so that you can get some yourself and give it a shot. It's really easy. You don't even need, like you could have, I did these in Photoshop only because I work in Photoshop a lot, and I've done like some, not on this particular kind, but I have done Waterslide decals that were not just letters, that were not just names, like little pictures and things like that that required a little more. But you could do that in Paint. You could do that in Word. You don't need fancy software to do it. You just need an inkjet printer, and I do believe they make them for laser printers too. But I don't know. I'm not familiar personally. But you just need a printer, which most people I think have or have access to, and the Waterslide decal paper, and an idea. So go on out there, do it for yourself. Have a great afternoon, and see you next time. Next time might be nails, might be crafts. Unsure. I'm working on some videos that are not live streamed, that are edited together for some other things I shot footage of. So we'll see how that goes. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.